You've declared war on carbohydrates. You've banished bread, pasta, and especially fruit, that sweet treat you've learned to see as an enemy. You follow the low-carb dogma with military discipline, but the inconvenient truth, the one you only confess to the mirror, is that you still feel bloated, tired, and hostage to a sugar craving that attacks you mercilessly at night. I know this prison because I was once its most dedicated inmate. In my blind pursuit of performance, I treated fructose like poison, until my body cashed the check with a gut in chaos and a chronic fatigue that no amount of coffee could solve. It took my own collapse for me to understand the truth. And the truth is this: your war on fruit isn't making you leaner. It is, in fact, fueling your bloating and perpetuating your sugar cravings. Your fear is the fuel for your self-sabotage. I am the sovereign of vitality, and today I'm not here to give you another list of forbidden foods. On the contrary, I am going to give you the 4 decrees that will make you make peace with fruit and finally, silence the bloating and cravings that torment you. Prepare to discover why an apple can be more powerful for your belly than any keto product the industry has ever sold you. You learned the lesson by heart, like a sacred wellness mantra. Carbs are the enemy, sugar is the villain, and fruit. It's the enemy's Trojan horse, a dangerous sweet treat, full of fructose, the word you've learned to fear more than negative feedback from your boss on a Monday. So you make the sacrifice. You look at the fruit bowl in your kitchen as if it were a minefield. You refuse the slice of melon at the hotel breakfast, say no thank you to the fruit salad for dessert, and feel a pang of pride for your iron discipline. You are in control, avoiding sugar at all costs. But then, something strange happens. Even with all this vigilance, your belly remains bloated, hard, as if in silent rebellion. You refuse a mango, but at 9 o'clock at night, you find yourself in an intense negotiation with that 70% cacao chocolate that quickly turns into the whole bar. Where is the logic in that? You reject nature's sugar, but your body seems to scream for a processed sugar rescue at night. You feel virtuous for avoiding a banana, but you spend the day with brain fog and a craving for bread that haunts you at every turn. This war, my dear, makes no sense. And I know it doesn't, because I was once the most dedicated general in this army. I banished fruit from my empire, believing I was making the smartest choice. I replaced the sweetness of a peach with lemon pie-flavored protein bars, full of sweeteners with names I could barely pronounce. The result? I lived in a state of perpetual craving. My gut was in chaos, and my supposed low-carb mental clarity was actually a constant fog of deprivation. I was winning the battle against the apple, but losing the war for my own vitality and peace of mind. The inconvenient truth, the secret the keto-friendly industry doesn't want you to know, is this: your fear of fruit is actually what's making you bloated. It's not the fructose in the apple that's inflaming you. It's the absence of the fiber, vitamins, and enzymes from that apple. Think of it as managing your empire. You fired the experienced and wise gardener, the fruit with its ecosystem of nutrients, because you heard he was expensive. And in his place, you hired an army of cheap, programmable robots, the low-carb products and artificial sweeteners. And now you look at your garden, your gut, and wonder why it's in ruins. You dismiss the only employee who knew how to cultivate harmony and balance, in exchange for an efficiency that only exists on the product's packaging. You traded the wisdom of nature for the promise of the laboratory. The fundamental question is not whether the fruit has sugar. The question is, what else does it have? And more importantly, what do the products you eat in its place not have? This trade-off, this negotiation you make every day without realizing it, is the root of your discomfort and the first link in the chain of your self-sabotage. So, how do we solve the frustration of avoiding fruit and yet still feeling bloated and having cravings? The answer isn't on the nutrition label, but in your internal senate, the trillions of bacteria that inhabit your gut. Think of them as a complex parliament. There is the Harmony Party, which works to give you energy and clarity, and there is the Chaos Party, which thrives on disorder. The Harmony Party, my dear, has a favorite food, an elite fuel that keeps it strong and in power: prebiotic fibers. And guess where they are found in abundance and quality? In the fruits and vegetables you've learned to fear. By cutting out fruit, you cut off the funding to your greatest allies. You, in your quest for discipline, create a political crisis in your own body. You let the Harmony Party starve. And who takes power when there is a vacuum? The opposition. The chaos party, which feeds on processed leftovers, artificial sweeteners, and the stress you cultivate. And what does this chaos party produce when it's in power? Gas, bloating, inflammation. Your hard, bloated belly at the end of the day is not a sign that you ate the wrong thing. It's a sign that the wrong rulers are in charge of your gut, and they are celebrating their victory with a loud and uncomfortable party. But the coup doesn't stop there. This chaos party is made up of master lobbyists. They send chemical messengers directly to your brain, hijacking your willpower. That sudden, uncontrollable craving for a processed sweet is not a character flaw. It's a political demand from your poorly governed gut. I remember a client, a CFO addicted to diet soda and keto desserts. She couldn't understand why, even when eating right, she lived with a fierce craving for sugar. The first protocol I gave her was not to take anything away, but to add a small portion of blueberries to her day. In 2 weeks, the craving for diet soda disappeared. We rearmed her allies. The fibers from that fruit are not just ballast, they are the currency, the campaign funding that ensures the election of the Harmony Party. Without this funding, your allies cannot work, and their job includes producing the neurotransmitters that give you a sense of calm and satisfaction. Meanwhile, the low-carb products you use to replace fruit are foreign mercenaries. They arrive with their sugar alcohols, maltitol, xylitol, erythritol. Your Senate doesn't know how to handle them. The result is more fermentation, more chaos, and a vicious cycle that keeps you hostage to bloating and cravings. Therefore, the decree is not eat fruit without control. The decree is fund the right party. You need to become a political strategist for your own body. You must consciously choose the foods that strengthen order and vitality, instead of those that sponsor chaos and rebellion. Your first act as a strategist is this. Tomorrow, instead of your usual fit snack, eat a handful of raspberries, or another fruit that is easily accessible. Just that. Observe how you feel. You are not adding sugar. You are sending a humanitarian aid package to your Harmony Party and starting to retake control of your internal Senate. I know exactly what you're thinking now. Okay, Sovereign, I get it. I'll eat the fruit. But what about the sugar spike and the insulin response? Won't I gain weight precisely because of the sugar you told me not to fear? That is the question of a strategist, and the answer will give you a new level of power. The secret lies not in the fruit itself, but in the company it keeps. The decree here is simple and non-negotiable. A fruit never walks alone. Think of the fruit as royalty, the Your Majesty of your plate. And a queen never strolls through the kingdom without her elite guard. The fruit's elite guard are its two most loyal protectors, protein and fat. When you eat a fruit alone, its sugar, fructose, arrives in your bloodstream like a messenger running and screaming, creating an alert, an energy spike followed by a collapse. But when the fruit arrives accompanied by its elite guard, its entry into your system is gradual, majestic, controlled. Protein and fat slow down the absorption of this sugar. This prevents the insulin spike, the hormone that, in excess, gives the order to your body. Store this extra energy as fat, now. The elite guard ensures that the fruit's energy is used as fuel for your empire and not stored in your fat reserves for the winter. I remember my healthy snack days. I would eat an apple alone at 3 in the afternoon, and by 3:30 I was already hungry and irritable, looking for something else. When I discovered this principle, I swapped the lonely apple for an apple with almond butter. The difference was brutal. That nervous hunger disappeared. I had hours of stable energy. So how do you assemble this royal escort in your routine? It's simple. A banana with a handful of walnuts, a handful of strawberries with full-fat, unsweetened Greek yogurt, slices of pear with slivers of quality cheese, a smoothie made with avocado and an excellent quality protein powder. Each combination is an act of command over your biochemistry. Understanding how each food combination impacts your hormones of hunger, stress, and satisfaction is a science. And it's one of the pillars I detail step by step in my guide, The End of Self-Sabotage. But starting with the elite guard principle already puts you in control of the game, instead of being a piece on the industry's board. The mindset here is one of mastery. You stop seeing fruit as a sugar risk and start seeing it as an energy source to be managed. You are not the victim of fructose. You are the commander who decides how that energy will be delivered and utilized by your kingdom. If you are ready to stop fearing food and start commanding how your body uses it, decree your new rank in the comments with the phrase, I command my energy. I want to see who the generals are that are assuming this power. Now you know how to fund your internal senate and how to protect your majesty, the fruit. You have the tools to start reintroducing the sweetness of nature into your life without fear. But how does this daytime strategy impact that overwhelming craving for sweets that attacks you after dinner? The connection is direct, and it is our next decree. Your nightly battle against the craving for sweets, the one you believe is a character flaw, doesn't begin at 8 o'clock at night. It is won or lost at 3 in the afternoon, with the choice you make for your snack. The connection between your day and your night is absolute, and understanding it is your final act of liberation. When you spend the day in a state of restriction, denying your body the intelligent energy of fruit and feeding the chaos party in your gut, you arrive at night in a state of biochemical deficit. Your brain is exhausted from making decisions, and your body is screaming for quick energy to recover from the instability you created. You call it a sweet tooth or a reward for a hard day. But what's really happening is a distress call. Your body isn't asking for pleasure, it's asking for a rescue. And the fastest, most efficient way it knows to get emergency energy is a massive dose of simple sugar. But Sovereign, you might be thinking, what if even after all this, even without being hungry, I still feel that call? That impulse to look for something in the cupboard, not for the taste, but out of an instinct I don't even understand? Ah, my dear. Now we are leaving biochemistry and entering the palace of your mind. What you feel in that moment is not hunger. It is the echo of a habit. It is your mind running an old program you installed yourself, one that says, end of a day of battles, sheer oral reward. Your body is not asking for chocolate. Your soul is asking for comfort. Your mind is begging for peace and rest. For years, you've taught yourself that the quickest way to get this feeling of peace was through food. Food became your tool to decompress, to celebrate, to numb yourself. And deprogramming these emotional triggers is the true work of a sovereign. Your first analgesic for this pain is the protocol of the true question. The moment the impulse comes, before you open the cupboard, pause, breathe, and ask yourself the only question that matters. What is my soul truly seeking right now? Just naming the feeling, peace, silence, reward, already breaks the power of the autopilot. This protocol is your first act of self-awareness. But unraveling each of these mental programs, understanding the root of each habit, and installing a new operating system of power is the complete journey. If you are the type of leader who builds the bridge while others are still studying the river, and you want the definitive map now, I have compiled this knowledge into a practical and direct guide, The End of Self-Sabotage. In it, I give you the protocols to become the ultimate commander of your own mind. It is your structured step towards definitive sovereignty. The link is in the first pinned comment. The strategy of a sovereign is not to fight nightly cravings. It is to anticipate them and make them irrelevant. By funding your harmony party and using the elite guard, you remove the biochemical cause. By using the protocol of the true question, you begin to disarm the emotional cause. With the 3 keys I have given you today, funding the right party, using the elite guard, and disarming the emotional trigger, you break the cycle. You stop treating the symptoms and start healing the cause. You are no longer at war. You have become the architect of your own peace. Now you hold the map. You know how to reintroduce the sweetness of nature into your life without fear, how to command your energy, and how to silence the cravings that haunt you. You are ready to sign the peace treaty with your body and finally govern with wisdom, not with sacrifice. And so, the lie is exposed. The journey to peace with carbohydrates does not begin with more restriction, but with a superior strategic intelligence. It begins when you stop fearing fruit and start using it as an ally, funding your internal senate with the fibers it craves and protecting its energy release with your elite guard. The freedom you seek isn't in an app that counts grams of carbs. It is in the power to look at a fruit bowl and feel peace, not panic. It's about ending the day feeling light and satiated, not in a constant war against your own desires. It's about having a body where food is finally a source of vitality, not anxiety. The goal was never to eliminate carbohydrates. It was to eliminate fear. It is to look in the mirror and see a woman who commands her energy with wisdom, who understands her own biochemistry, and who is no longer hostage to dogmas or cravings she didn't understand. It is the peace that comes from governing one's own body. The decree has been made. If you have decided to abandon fear and embrace strategy, Your journey to true food sovereignty begins now. Subscribing to this channel is your declaration that you are ready to question the truths they sold you and build your own manual of power. Subscribe and activate notifications because debunking the low-carb lie is crucial. But to sustain your performance, you need the right tools. In our next decree, we will talk about the secret mineral for the true calm and recovery of the high-performing woman. The topic is magnesium, the secret to the power pause, the supplement every high-performing woman should take. Your empire needs this intelligence.